Hey everybody, it's Josh. Um, so I got myself into a mood thinking about this whole Caver Camp and Brooke Farmer situation and everything, and how the eviction and how it gets unfairly went against me and all that sort of stuff. And so I decided I'm going to make a video telling you guys the real reason that Brooke Farmer went out of her way to harass me for a year, and the real reason that she did everything she could to have me evicted, despite the fact that I have been a quiet, non troublemaking tenant at Havercamp Properties for 8 years. I'm just going to be blunt. Brooke thinks I'm weird. That's what it is. Brooke thinks I'm weird. And she feels like that entitles her to mess with me any way she wants to. She feels like because she thinks I'm weird, I shouldn't have any right to stand up to her when she gives me crap. She feels entitled to just give me crap and I'm supposed to take it. But here's the thing about all that. She doesn't think I'm weird for any particular reason. I don't act. I never acted weird, uh, in any during my entire time living at Havercamp Properties. Pretty much stayed to myself. Really didn't interact with the office that much. Really didn't interact with other neighbors that much. You know what I'm saying? I was basically just another tenant. But Brooke knows about my past. Brooke knows that I am a former homeless person. She knows I used to be a panhandler. She knows I used to be a drunk. She knows all that because she's seen the media stories about me. You know, the stories in the Ames Tribune. The Ames Tribune did about my whole homeless to college journey. The story that Channel 5 in Des Moines did about me, about my whole homeless to college journey. She's seen those stories. She knows my background. Because of my past as a homeless guy and my past of living 10 years in the streets and all that, Brooke has that weirdo label slapped on me, despite the fact that it's really not deserved. For my first 6, 7 years at Havercamp Properties, Brooke has pretty much always been around, but I barely, if ever, directly interacted with her. I mean, just every once in a while, every here and there, a quick hi, hello, how you doing, or something like that, and that's about it. I knew what her name was, I knew who she was when she was a normal employee, but we didn't interact. And I didn't try to interact with her, and she didn't try to interact with me. So we have like no history to where she would have any reason to put like a label on me, whether that's a label of weirdo or anything else. The reason she thinks I'm weird or she thinks I'm a weirdo or whatever is because she knows I'm a former homeless man. So she's projected, I don't know how to put this into words, she's projected perceived weirdness onto me because of that. Now, I am a little bit different than the average person, as you can probably have picked up on from my previous videos. But that's not what Brooke's hangup is. Brooke's hangup is just this: I do not want this weirdo homeless guy living with me, living in my buildings now that I'm the manager. And if I have any reason to screw with him to try to put him out, to try to make him feel like he's less of a tenant than the other people here, or to try to make him feel like he has to leave, then that's what I'm going to do. That's Brooke's attitude towards me. And that's what it's always been towards me. This is why she had me censored on the community wall when nobody else gets censored, even though the complaints I make are the same complaints everybody else makes. This is why when my upstairs neighbors make a ton of noise and pound on my ceiling, they can do it all day long, and that's all fine and good. But the minute I hit the ceiling back to get the noise to stop, I'm getting behavioral write-ups. I'm getting taken to court to be evicted. This is why when I complain to Brooke about noise above me, she gives me every excuse as to why she can't do anything about it. But the people above me who are making noise, she's emailing them, telling them, "Hey, if this guy hits your ceiling at all, let me know, and I'll discipline him for it." This is the reason that she targets me and comes after me in a way that she's never ever come after any other tenant before. Even though I've pretty much just been a quiet paying tenant who wants peace and quiet around me. This is why she targeted me. This is why I ended up getting evicted, because I wouldn't take crap from her. Brooke despises me, can't stand me because of my past, my past as a formerly homeless person. She does not see a human being when she looks at me. And that's what's been the cause of all of this trouble ever since she took over her managerial duties at Havercat Properties over a year ago. She wanted me to feel like I have no rights. She wanted me to feel like I had to leave. And when I stood up to her, that's when she started using the court system against me to try to get me evicted. That's the real deal. And I know it because I've been around her and I know what it is. And I've had to deal with other people who hate me just for that reason, just because of my past as a homeless person. I had to deal with it a lot when I was actually homeless, right? But that's what it is. Brooke does not see me as, she didn't see me as valuable as she sees other tenants because of my past with homelessness. She didn't see a human being when she looked at me, and she didn't feel like she had to respect my rights at all. And when I stood up to her, it just burned her up even more. That's the reason Brooke Farmer hates my guts. And that's the reason she put me all through all this stuff she put me through. And that's just the truth. So if anybody's wondering why Brooke did this stuff to me, that's why. That's a fact. It's irrefutable. Because I certainly never gave her no reason to even give me a second look. She does not care when other tenants have conflicts with other tenants. When somebody's making too much noise above someone else and that someone else hits the ceiling to get them to stop, Brooke doesn't put no friggin' behavioral notices on their door. Brooke tells them, hey, try to work it out with your neighbors. If you can't work it out, just call the police. She stays completely out of it. But with me, she's all over me. There's people who live in that particular apartment complex that have children that have been accused of physically abusing their children. Other neighbors have said they heard this, and they've reported it to Brooke. You know what Brooke has said? Brooke has said, well, if you think there's a problem, call the police. Never reached out to the supposed child abusers. She just told the neighbors who were overhearing it, if you think there's a problem, call the police. So you tell me, how is it that a potential child abuser doesn't even get talked to by Brooke Farmer, under Brooke Farmer's management? But when I, who lives a peaceful, quiet life in my own apartment, hit the ceiling a few times to get my neighbors to stop pounding on my ceiling, I'm a big problem and I have to go and all this, and I have to be evicted and all this. This is why I've said over and over again that Brooke is not going to get away with the stuff she did to me. This is personal to me. The truth is going to come out. And Brooke, if you're watching this, I forgot to say this in the last video. You know what else I'm going to end up doing, even if it takes me some time? I'm going to get a hold of your company emails. Every email that you've ever fielded from the end of 2021 to March of 2023. Not just emails involving me where I'm the subject matter, but emails involving complaints with other tenants as well. I'm going to get a hold of all your emails eventually. I'm going to do it through the legal way, but I'm eventually going to do that, and I'm going to expose you. I've already got you exposed anyway with what I talked about in my last video with, putting the entire court hearing. Brooke, you are not going to end up looking good when I post that entire court hearing right here on YouTube for the whole world to see. I bet you didn't expect me to do that. But this is what you get when you bother and harass somebody and use your landlord powers to try to bully somebody. As for you, Brent Haverkamp and Todd Westenberg, you knew what was going on. I reached out to you thousands of times. Not thousands, but you get the idea. And I was met with stony silence mostly. You supported Brooke, knowing what she was doing. So I gave you guys plenty of chances to correct the situation as well. So, I'm starting to fight back now. When I released that court hearing, And when I put that court hearing on YouTube, that's going to cause a lot of crap for you guys. And I'm here for it. That's all.